Now we're going to do a deer feet gun rack mount. And right now, I know it's 24 inches long, and I want the spaces to be about 16 inches apart. So what it is I divided a half of 24, which is 12, and then from a 12-inch mark, I went 8 inches either way, which equals 16. And I put my mark, and I put it a little bit below center to allow for the hooves to kind of hang. Okay, I went up from a 1/2 inch mark. Now, this is just the distance between the studs, the most commonly used measurement. Then I go out a 1/2 inch and put a mark. Well, I went a 1/2 inch out from there and put a mark, which is right here. Just kind of guess it. Same thing on this side. Okay. Now that's good reference for our mirror hangers. We've already got our marks for our mirror hangers. And then we're going to drill, probably can't see it, but I put little dots 16 inches apart, and I centered them on the 24-inch piece of wood. So now what I'm going to do is drill a hole through them and use these. With this, it's going to be a snug fit and it won't even stick out of the back. I guarantee it. Well, I'm going to go in from the front. Get you some good wood glue and put it on your shaft and put it on the wood itself and just hammer it in from the front. It'll be plenty strong enough. And you just kind of pound it in there. I don't want to use the table because everything will vibrate. But you get the idea. Just pound it in till it's flush. You can make sure it works. Oh yeah, check it out. It works. We'll go ahead and do the other one, then we'll start working on the feet. I go ahead and put my little mirror hangers on. I get everything done so that way we can just start. Now remember, we got all this stuff marked too, so that's a plus too. So we just put in. I like these screws with the big heads. You can even put a little bit of wood glue on these screws if you wanted to, but I think we're okay. I like it where you can see that, see the hinge hangers so you know how to put them on, And they can size it up on their wall however they want to. Now we can start working on the feet. Well, I know I'll probably go about to right here, I guess. That's plenty. I just want to find the center of the foot. Now run my knife right up the middle. Try to stay just under the skin. You don't want to go too deep. It's unnecessary. Okay. Then we just do the super easy stuff of skinning him out. I'm going to try to leave as much on the leg because we're going to toss the leg anyway. So we just try to leave as much as we can on. Keep working these around. keep on working it down. Try to leave as much of it as you can on the leg, because you're going to toss the leg. If you deal with a lot of water or something, use your borax. Borax is fine for this. You know, just mule team borax at the store. But you can order like dry preserve also from the company where you order the feet from. The feet forms. The regular mule team borax can get the job done on these feet. Hair slippage is not as much of a concern. I guess these legs are pretty stout as far as hair and everything. When you get to these toes, there's some cartilage there you want to cut through. And there again, when you find it, your scissor will just kind of pass through it. Real soft, like almost like butter. That's that cartilage in between the joint. When you're not on the joint, it's going to be hard. It's going to be, you know, like trying to cut through straight bone, which essentially is what you're doing. There that goes. Keep on working down. Just keep on cruising. I'll do one leg and, you know, on film, and you'll know the other one does the same thing. There we are. Keep working around. One thing I worry about on like any animal is cutting a hole between the hooves, because the skin kind of tucks way back up in there, you know, in between the toes. So you just got to make sure you get back there far enough. I made sure my knife was good and sharp and got up in there and started popping that stuff out. cutting the sides of where the membrane is sticking to the skin on the inside of the toe, freeing that up. And I always have to tend to sew a little bit more, like right here. Just keep riding along that membrane, keep separating it out. Should be able to use my knife. It's the last joint. I believe it helps to get on the back and then cut from the back, cut through some of that stuff. There we go. Just had to figure it out. And you toss this away. It's already pretty dry, but get what I can in there. You just flush all the stuff off. Might be a thin layer of skin or something. Make sure you get all that membrane off. It's important. Just like any other part of a deer, you know. Just roll that excess membrane off. Take the hooves as far down. These little side little hoovy things right here. Take them as far down as you can without, you know, going too far, obviously, and separating or anything, but take a little more off. Okay, now I go around each one of these toes. Take it down as far as I can without putting a hole through it. There again, you can pull a certain way and you can see membrane. You want to get as far as you can within reason. You don't want to cut through this where the hair connects to the hoof or anything, in other words, is what I'm getting at. I guess you'd call it little tendons and stuff like that and flesh. And I'd go ahead and get that off. See, like around here, it'll come off. So if it comes off, you definitely want it to come off. See, as I work my way around this little hoof toe, I guess you could call it, that right there. So I see a little bit of stuff here and there. But I'll separate it as good as I can while I'm at it. I go down as far as I can. I'm almost down to where the hair is. Here we are. And you try to work it all the way around. You get as close as you can on the inside too, not just the outside part, but just work all the way around as close as you can. Get as deep as you can. And you get any excess, it should just come right off. That's pretty much all bone there. There's a little bit in here this can come off. Some stuff that can come on. You know, within reason. You know, if you leave just a little here and there, I mean, it's understandable. You just do as good a job of fleshing as, see, all this has got a layer of like tendons and flesh that can come off of it. I already got this side for the most part, but I got a lot on this side, and then I'll show you what we do next. You just get that. Just basically just, you know, if you can lay it down flat and get it, go ahead and do that. Some right here, this can come off, see? So I work on getting it off. Okay, it's down about as far as I can get. snip a little. If I get a little piece of it with my scissors, I will. You got everything at your disposal. Well, now you wash it, and then you throw your borax on it. I've got dry preservative. It's probably got some borax in it, I'm sure, but you don't think borax or dry preservative, either one, works really good for this. In fact, they used to sell these as kits. And they may still do it, but I know Van Dyke's used to sell kits of this stuff. And of course, I want to make sure I get everything real good. That includes all the way down into these hooves. Make sure you get it down in there as far as it'll go. I mean, you may have to stretch and pull to get it down in there. So around every one of these toes, you can get it down in there real good. Just make sure you got everything. Make sure you pull all these toes out as far as they'll go and get that borax down in there. I even like to make sure it's good and wet just to know it's down in there real good. That way I'll know the water and everything is soaking down in there. Just know it's really in there real good. Alright, well, it's done as far as the preserving goes. And you can use the smallest setting as far as these hole sizes. That'll help. Unfortunately, mine's tore up. The smallest hole size is tore up for me, so oh, this will come off. Didn't see this. Extra piece of tendon or something. When I put my hole punches, I start way at the bottom even. Get as far down as you can where you can get a good decent bite. And that's good enough. I'm about a 1/4 of an inch from the end of the incision, so just keep going down. Next one goes right here. Yeah, they're going through. Then the next one about a 1/4 of an inch down. Then 1/4 of an inch down. 1/4 of an inch down. If I'm going down about a 1/4 of an inch, make sure I get a good enough bite where it's not going to pull through. And a 1/4 of an inch. Pop another hole. You see the holes I'm putting in. Go down a 1/4 of an inch. Go down a 1/4 of an inch, pop another hole. Keep 1/4 of an inch down. Close to the edge, but not too close. Just get a good bite, a 1/4 of an inch down. 1/4 of an inch down. And you can see how it's going. One more right there. Okay, you see those? And you start on the other side the same way. Here's a little bit more meat. Not uncommon for me to leave stuff, unfortunately. Here we got that. Sure it's preserved real good. start at the very end. A lot of times I can reach and get my first hole down about right here, is which is where it needs to be. There we are. That's the first one. Second one is right next to it. First one definitely always the hardest. Here's the second one. Okay, here's the third one. Okay, fourth one. Now I can go to the outside. Let's see, fifth one, 1/4 of an inch apart. Okay, next one, 1/4 of an inch apart. Next one, 1/4 of an inch apart. The gun rack is usually pretty tight right there. There we go. Now we just start sewing. I like to make sure I've got enough, thread to do the job. Snip it. Give me a good sewing needle. I don't know what kind of needle this is called, but it's got an extreme curve, which comes in handy for ducks and everything else. And just tie me a knot on the end. Probably don't really even have to, but I will. I'm going to end up cutting some of that back part of that skin off anyway, I'm sure. But let's see. We can sew up some on this anyway first. See, where's that first hole? There it is. That's the first one. See how close I got? I got pretty close. And I guess I could go through the top. Let's see, where's the other starting hole? There it is. Okay, so I went from underneath and went out, and I'm just kind of rainbowing over it and going down to the top on the other side. So this is what we got. Come up from underneath on this side, went around and just popped down on the other side. If you want, you can tie this off real good too. It is going on the inside anyway, so. On the inside. Tie it off a couple times, ought to be good. There we are. Okay, then we find our next hole. Come up through there. So now it's just a regular baseball stitch. Just come up from underneath. And now this is a button thread, which is super strong. It's what I do my ducks with, or what I sew my ducks with. Go up again. Go from the bottom again. Make sure there's no hair under where you sew. If you can keep from it, that does make a better, it hides more, I guess you could say. Although it is going to be on the inside. It's not going to be seen really. It's going to be on the side facing the wall. Let's see how that's going so far. Yeah, that's going to do really good. Bring that together. I want it good and tight. I'm having to go back and retighten some of my earlier stitches. Okay, now it should, here we are. And before I go much further, I need to put a little clay on the end of the hooves, which is what I tend to like to do, and push them down in there, or I can put clay down in the hooves. I tend to put a little clay right on the end of the hooves. Having on to put a drop of super glue in place to keep the stitches from trying to get undone. Just a small drop of super glue. Yeah, it'll stretch. Almost didn't have enough though. Oh yeah, it's cinching up good now. Yeah, I just use these as kind of props. Anything that'll prop them. Ball of coat, anything. Can use my thumb to kind of just flake away the hair so it's not in the way of the incision that much. Okay. Make sure it's as tight as it can go. We go to the next one. This one. We go to the next one on this side, which is this one. Never underestimate how much thread you'll use on this. That's for sure on these hooves. Maybe twice as much as you think you're going to need. And this one. But you see what's going on. It's balancing pretty good. So I thought I was going to need those little pop balls, but apparently not. So make sure the hair is out of the way if all humanly possible. And go to the next one on this side. And since I double threaded it, I like to go ahead and Basically put one thread on one side and one thread on the other. Pull everything tight as a drum. Oh, everything's tight. There we are. There we are. See, it's super tied together. Okay, then I just tie a doggone knot, man. Couple of knots. It's already cinched up. There we are, then. There we are. Cut off the excess. This button thread is strong stuff. You can get that at Walmart. A little short, but I know that'll stretch. So I'm tickled to death about that. See how it's going over though? Oh, look at that. Now just get my staple gun. Make sure I get in the skin. I can let go of my hemos. Give me a little hammer and tap that sucker in if I want to. Ah, there we are. I can tap it down too if I want to, if I can. I can. Okay, now here on this side, then I've got what I do, I'm not hitting the metal part. There's like a metal ring in there, or it's actually a nut. It's molded into the styrofoam or the foam form. So all I do is get that skin and go right up to that nut, pop a staple, tap it real good. Here we go. Here's the ferrule. Now you want to do it before it dries because the skin tends to be a little bit like thick right there. Thus, that's why they're always a little bit bigger. So look at that. That's a good fit. Then you just screw it in. And what you want to do is while it's drying, just let it hang down. Then when it's ready to go out to the customer, make sure it's hanging in the opposite direction. Now the ferrule takes up a little bit of space. And let me see, if it still sticks in the back, we got shims. We can put a couple of washers. We could take this off and put a couple of washers in front of the ferrule. But let's see. Let us, you got the other one in there too, right? Okay, well that's cool. So let me get it back on here, get it started. I'm curious. We should be good to go, but if we're not, we'll shim it up with a couple of washers. Okay, that's as far up as that'll go. Let's see, what about now? Okay. Look at that, it doesn't even go through. Look at that. It's still way down in there. I had about, looks like 7/8 of an inch. Look at that. So I can just let it hang like that and dry. And make sure everything is, proportioned good. I can even get Scotch tape and, let me show you. It's going to be hanging like that. You want those hooves to touch at least on the ends, right? So I'll get a little masking tape. Basically like that. where it keeps the hooves together, you know, while it dries. So that's kind of, or you can get a drop of super glue and put it right there on the end, and nobody knows nothing. I've done that before. Right there on the tip where the hooves touch. Work it as it dries. And when it's done, just make sure it's upright so it can, you know, somebody can hang their gun on it. You can get panels where you can hang your deer and also have a gun rack below it. And I've done several of those. Those are really neat. I'll get back with you when he dries. I put a little super glue, a drop of super glue right there on the end. And you have to look real close. I don't know if you can see it. I got a little bit of super glue on there, and I just sit back and I'll get back with you when it's dried. Okay, like right here, we can, I guess you can take them off and scrub them real good or whatever you got to do. Now you can paint all this black if you want to, and this and this. Maybe a little rich brown down in here if you wanted to. But you'd be surprised, a gloss top coat will cover up a lot of this white stuff. But you can paint it like dark brown is what I usually use. Some of the white stuff in here, you can use your rich brown on it. It's facing the wall anyway. You're not going to really see it, so. Yeah, you can get a little bit of that putty and fill up any of these holes. And then restain it. I gotta hang it up because it's just so much easier to see. Going with the grain looks a lot better, but you can cover up some impurities, at least make it where they're not as noticeable is the right word. You bring some of this down first. Go with the grain. Look at that. It's pretty darn good. Kind of going with the grain. Install these back on. Not all the way, just, you know, so far. Now you can use gloss top coat, but I just got a regular polyurethane gloss with a brush. And a lot of that stuff that you can see right now, you put that gloss on there, it just disappears pretty much. You know, except for the glare. Right up in here, there's some white stuff. Yeah, just go ahead and get it real good. You know, there's some natural chips that are in the hooves anyway. You can't do anything for that. But you just get all the hoof. Get these little small hoovy things on the side, I guess you could call them. I don't know what you call them. Now go ahead and get what you might have missed the other way. And it just really pretties up these hooves. Normally I just do it, but it's good for y'all to see it like this. You can do it right here. It covers up all that stuff that was showing. You know, the white powdery looking scratches or whatever. Nothing says you can't get these old ferrules either and make them look good. A little bit of gloss. Not only that, if they're far enough away from the panel, anything that drips is going to just drip right off. And for that matter, you can go ahead and gloss the panel again or really make it look shiny. Oh wow, people will love that. You'd be surprised what a little bit of shine and some gloss will do to make something look really, really awesome. These ferrules had a little bit of something wrong with them anyway. They weren't really shiny and brown like they used to be. They come from the taxidermy supply that way. Had some discoloration for some reason. Well, this kind of straightens that up too. A little bit of gloss goes a long way. Now you just let everything dry and let the customer have it.